A lot of his units even before the fight actually started, and after that we had all those ghosts with a personal cloaking ability going for the EMPs and reducing the energy of the Archons to nothing. The 10 hit points didn't pose a problem to TaeJa's bio army. He had such a scary force at that point in time, and this game was just ending so fast after the engagement. The second map will be Belcher Beach. And Inca sure does have to turn up the heat if he wants to succeed against the Slayers player. The players are about to be ready. TaeJa is ready. We are still waiting for Inca to confirm that he is good to go as well. And then we can start with the second match between Inca and TaeJa, the Terran versus Protoss. And we have another game coming up, of course, on this second stream as well. After this best of 3, we will have OGS Supernova, Startail Squirtle, which is going to be another Terran versus Protoss match. But now we're still waiting for Inca and TaeJa to start the game, and yeah, this should be pretty nice. I have to admit that so far, well, if you watch the other stream, by the way, you can obviously have a good look at the players themselves. Today there's a lot. I've watched this game, I've watched the other stream while we had the break, and I have to say there are a lot of people in the studio today once more. It's basically always the case when Slayer's Box is playing. He just attracts such a huge crowd. And I have to say that I have never seen as many people as, I think it was this Monday, when Lino was facing MVP in Code S. I pointed that out yesterday already. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not been able to follow the games live between Lino and MVP, make sure to catch the VODs. That was the best Starcraft 2 series I've ever seen. Those games were insane, both of them at their best, and this was just such a treat to watch, so you should definitely make sure that you are catching these games. And TaeJa as well as Inca are ready. We're in the game and about to start the second one. Belcher Beach, GSL Code A. This is Inca against TaeJa, the second map. Inca lost. He lost on Daybreak. TaeJa is up ahead with 1-0, starting at the right side of the map in the blue colors. This is Slayer's TaeJa. And the left side of the map, the top left, we have his opponent. We have the Protoss player from Team OGS, Old Generations. He is OGS Inca. And he struggled a little bit on the last map. Both players went for a fast expansion, but TaeJa could capitalize on that a lot more than Inca. There was no really early game, not really an early game aggression going on. Inca thought for a few seconds if he would try to push his opponent with his gateway units, but in the end just realized that that wouldn't do him any good at all, because TaeJa was prepared for that, and therefore he retreated. Both players just maximizing their army, and the army composition, the unit composition of TaeJa was just too good for Inca to beat. He was caught out of position as well in one of those encounters, and therefore lost the game to his opponent. TaeJa right now with the barracks walling off at the front, and Inca just trying to scout a little bit one of his probes. He won't be able to see anything at all. He won't get any scouting information whatsoever, and therefore has to assume that his opponent might put some early pressure onto his base. Oh, is he able to sneak in? No, he's not. No, he's not. That would be a little bit too unlucky for TaeJa if he would have made that mistake of displacing that barracks. But yep, right now Inca doesn't have any information whatsoever. He has no idea what's happening. So TaeJa without gas is going for an expansion. We don't have any problem of realizing that, as we have the perfect vision into his base. We see that he didn't get a refinery just yet, and he is actually placing that command center outside of his wall-in, and is going to build a bunch of marines in order to prevent his opponent from scouting nonetheless. The marines will just line up over here to kill incoming probes. There's one hovering at the Xilnaga watchtower, and the SCV was able to spot everything in the main base of OGS Inca. And for Inca, this is a little bit tricky. He doesn't really know if there's going to be an expansion on Belcher beats. It's not uncommon to get one, but still, if TaeJa was going to start with 2 barracks and trying to push him, then he would die to that push instantly if he would go for a 1 warp gate expansion. So he needs to be a little bit careful, and he's going for a Twilight Council. This is pretty cool. He's going for a 1 base play right now. He's getting a lot of gas already. That Twilight Council will allow him to get DTs or just research blink, and I'm pretty sure that we are going to see Dark Templar, but there's already a bunker built for TaeJa. And what do you usually do if you're a Terran player in this matchup? You are starting to build supply depots next to the bunker, then you can wall off, and even if there are DTs, it won't be possible for the Protoss player to get into the base of the Terran. He would need a warp prism at that, and this would be quite risky to place down place down robotics as well. But right now we have the Dark Shrine. We already talked about that. He's not even trying to hide it. So as soon as TaeJa is scanning his main base, and at some point he knows about the Twilight Council and about the Dark Shrine as well. He should maybe just have tried to build it somewhere up here. And there's the scan. Knows about the Dark Shrine, and I have to say that Inca can basically cancel that. This is quite a little disappointing, to be honest. Inca didn't even try to hide that. He didn't even try to hide that, and he should really cancel that Dark Shrine if he's not just getting it in order to get Archons, because I have to say that this is not going to happen. I'm still missing some supply depots by TaeJa, but he has the engineering base going for a missile turret, and if not for some miracle, those DTs won't deal any damage at all to TaeJa. He knows exactly what's going on. He can prepare against it, and yeah, I don't know how Inca expects to deal damage to his opponent. He's starting to build an expansion behind that, some kind of Dark Templar expand, but we have a lot of barracks. We have 3 barracks with add-ons for TaeJa. He's getting double gas in his main base. He's getting he's getting Marauders now. Already has Stim on its way, getting another bunker. And there is 1 DT, 1 lonely Dark Templar on his way to die. He's not going to live. I'm really sorry to say, but he is not surviving that attack. And this is exactly why I actually should have done some supply depots. This is exactly why. He needs to build those supply depots anyways, but now he has to waste the scan in order to kill that DT. He knows about it nonetheless, so that missile turret is definitely not useless, but that Marauder would have helped a lot more, especially if it already had concussive shell, which is not the case. Double forge now for Inca, getting additional gateways. He invested a lot of gas into that tech, and so far it didn't do him any good at all. TaeJa is looking really good right now. It's 36 SCVs against 44 probes. And taking quick glance to the main base with the expansion of his opponent. We have the Templar archives being built right now, and charge upgrade being researched already. Concussive shell is in the queue for the Terran player, as well as Stim +1 attack, and combat shield will follow fairly soon, I guess. Doesn't have it so far. And there's a factory, another refinery. Whereas the combat shields can certainly afford it. Yep, there it is. And nice placement by the supply depot, by the way. He knows that there is always the risk of a warp prison flying into the main base and dropping a bunch of DTs. Therefore, that supply depot does make perfect sense, as well as the Marines that are guarding the back or parts of the Terran main base. 78 supply against 70 right now. We have that Storm upgrade being chrono boosted. Charge is halfway done. And there's 1 pylon for Inca. He's getting more and more gateways right now. He's already on 3 warp gates. He has 6 of them in a few seconds. 3 High Templar already. And what about... yeah, the Marine is already aware of the probe, killing it. And might scout that pylon as well. It will scout the pylon quite likely. there it is. And yep, saw the pylon. And where the hell is that Marine going? It's just, the Marine is just scouting a little bit, trying to get an idea if there's a third base already for Inca. Something's not the case. And the Protoss player trying to be a little bit aggressive. He is about to finish the +1 armor upgrade. Getting now also some DTs. Has the High Templar for the Storm, enough energy at that. Look at the army supply, 42 against 50. 59 workers against 55. Yeah, but I'm not too sure if that's going to happen. Look, that's... I don't think that he will be able to bust through. I don't think he will be able to kill that wall in. I mean, there's a third bunker coming up. There are a lot of Marauders already. +1 attack is done. +1 armor is about to be done. We have the armory being built so that he can access the +2 attack and armor upgrades. Right now, with the probe trying to get a third base. Whoa, nuke being built and pushing out with 180 supply. The player from Team Slayers. And that Storm, not really hitting the army, just a precaution in order to he should probably back off and not run into all those storms, but this is going to be a very, very strong drop play. We have one factory at the potential third base, scouting that Nexus. In the back there are 2 pylons, and if he drops, he might be able not only to take out the pylon, oh, the cannon is too late, not only be able to take out the pylons, but a lot more. Yes, there we go. Feedbacking the medivacs right away, but not killing them, not taking them out. That warp gate is going to die, as is another pylon, unpowering 2 of them. That was well done. That one single DT is not able to hold that off, and that was quite a nice accomplishment by TaeJa. He's on 142 supply against 132. Is retreating now with his medivacs, but not with all of them. Trying to take down the High Templars, and there's a nice storm, but both High Templar die to that push, and he doesn't really realize that there is already a DT just trying to cut away at his units. At the same time, there's a small draw of TaeJa at the third base, trying to annoy him just a tiny little bit while dropping into his opponent's main base again with all 4 medivacs, and now going for a taking down the assimilator, and might be able to clear that force out as well. That looks pretty damn good for TaeJa right now. He's killing a lot of stuff, a lot of units running into that storm. At the same time, we have the Protoss player with an all-out attack, trying to break through that choke point, but this is way too much stuff for him to deal with. TaeJa has to pull his SCVs, but he's killing everything that Inca has, and there is still that marauding part of his army in the main base of the Protoss player. There's no scan available. Finally, he's able to pull them down, taking down both of them, both of the DTs. And there's still a double medivac hovering at the third base. Oh, TaeJa looking so strong, focusing down that Nexus, and Inca down at 82 supply. He will lose that game most likely. We have him now taking out more DTs, and he's just losing way too much stuff. Terran player on 2 bases is taking out everything, is taking out the second base now as well. There's 2 storms going off the wall, very nice storms, but it's not enough to decide that game in the favor of the Protoss player. He has just way too many engagements, way too many units of the Terran player in his main base, and targeting down that Nexus will win TaeJa that game. Now Inca pulling the probes as well, but all of them are about to die if they really insist on fighting with the Terran player's forces. 50 supply for OGS Inca and Slayers. TaeJa on 120. Still units in the main base, of Inca. It's just too much. He can't handle that much pressure. Another Nexus is being target fired by TaeJa. There are a lot of DTs, 5 of them, but the Nexus is down. The Nexus is dead. The Marines and Marauder 2-to-1 upgrades are just way too much for Inca to deal with. Inca in so much trouble right now. Scans going off everywhere. in order to reveal the GG. This is not going to happen. Inca is just desperately clinging onto this game, but nope. Those Nexar are all being killed. I have no idea why he's not winning the game. There's the GG. Inca taking the series with 2-0 and therefore advancing to the next round. And we have another match coming up in a few short minutes. OGS Supernova will face Startail, Squirtle, and TaeJa Shipyard will be the first map in this best of 3. We'll have a quick break in which the players will get ready. And then we will have the final match in our group for today. Another Terran versus Protoss. So ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for another TVP action here at the GSL Codec.